The narcissist will see this as a weakness in you. There's a few things that they will use against you, but this isn't actually the truth. The truth is that you're quite powerful, and it's something that the narcissist can't do. So that's why they see it as a weakness in you, and they see it as a vulnerability of yours, but it isn't necessarily the truth. I'm going to talk about this in the video. Hello and welcome back. I hope that you're all doing really well. So in today's video, I really wanted to talk about what makes you vulnerable to a narcissist. I want to give you some insights into how narcissists perceive this. I don't necessarily think it is a vulnerability of yours. I think it's actually your power, but it's the way that the narcissist perceives this. It's the way that the narcissist sees this. And they use it against you. They use it against you because you know why? Because they can't do this themselves. So they see this as something that they don't understand, something that they don't want to tap into. So they use it against you. I'm going to talk about more of this in the video. So as we know, narcissists have a skewed way of thinking or a different way to thinking about things the way that we do. And so this topic that we're going to talk about today is no different. What I'm talking about is our emotional side. It's about how we address our emotions, how we express ourselves emotionally. This is the thing that narcissist sees as vulnerable within us. And that's why they use this to exploit us, to use it against us. And so this is why we shut down and we are not able to express ourselves to our fullest capacity, which then means that we shut down, disconnect from ourselves, and not really say what we are feeling or what's going on for us, which makes it very difficult for us to just be. Emotions is something that the narcissist sees as a vulnerability, as being open. All right, and the narcissist will never want to show that, will never want to express their emotions, because if they do, they are opening themselves up. They are giving or opening this information up to somebody else. Now, this is something that they have spent so much time trying to push down, trying to hide from other people, because if you really knew how they felt or who they are, they feel that people would run away from them, and probably that is actually really quite true. But the thing is, this is the thing that they want to hide. They don't feel. They make themselves not feel. This is something that is stopped or blocked within childhood. This stems back to a major core wound that the narcissist would have experienced as a child. They disconnect from themselves. Their parents didn't accept them the way that they are, simply because they would have had toxic parents. And that toxic parent would have wanted that child to be an extension of themselves, to be like them. This is the enmeshment that happens. The child would have learned that they are not acceptable the way that they are, so they have to change in some way. And so the child that is changed, the narcissistic child, goes through an emotional breakdown because they have to change who they are, because they realize that they're not accepted the way that they are. And so what happens is the child disconnects from who they are, their ego is developed, and then there's this big kind of barriers that are put so that the child isn't themselves. They are a representation of who their parents wanted them to be. And that's why it becomes very difficult to be able to read the narcissist. The child knows, okay, from that point when they have done that they can't be themselves. So they spend a lifetime trying to hide who they really are, to not feel, to not process, to not understand their emotions. They push those things down. So when it comes to you, someone who is open, someone who is empathetic, compassionate, someone who is able to express themselves emotionally, they see this as a weakness. They see this as something that makes you vulnerable to them. Also added to the fact is that when you are not able to express yourself emotionally because the narcissist doesn't allow it, or they gaslight you into thinking something different, you see, you then don't have boundaries. You can't express how you are feeling, what you want from this interaction, from this moment, from this situation. You don't express it because you're not allowed to, or it's not heard. You are there, your mind is then changed into thinking something completely different. And so that's why the narcissist gets away with it. That's how the narcissist is able to silence you. You kind of become like them in some way, not being able to express you. And so we retreat back into ourselves. We then also become disconnected from who we are because we're not allowed to just be. And so that's why the narcissist is able to play you, that is able to manipulate you, is able to control you. Because you stop being you. You become a representation of what the narcissist wants you to be. And that's the vulnerability within us. The narcissist exploits that. Because it's what this has been done to them. They're just repeating childhood wounds. They're repeating their childhood. So what has been done to them is then done to you, right? And so this is why it becomes really difficult for us to then trust, because we feel that everybody else is going to do that to us. We feel that we can't be ourselves. We can't express ourselves. And that's why this beautiful point or beautiful part of us is taken away, and we don't trust others. So we retreat back into ourselves. So if you are someone watching this video and this is resonating with you, I want you to know that your emotions, who you are, your vulnerability, okay, is your superpower, actually. And I don't want you to change. And it's actually through being able to open up, through being able to accept who you are, to connect back to you. This is your superpower. This is what you need to show to the world. It is going to take time for you to be able to trust and open up. But the key here is to trust yourself. It's to be you. That is what is going to help you. But you need to have boundaries. You can't open up and show that vulnerable side to just anybody. It's to the people who you trust. It's to the people that you know are going to appreciate you. Not everybody will. So it's you using your discernment, you using your intuition to know who you can open up and be vulnerable to. The narcissist is not able to do this. And that's why they see it as a vulnerability, because they can't tap into their emotional side. That emotional side has been hidden. And that emotional side has been pushed down. Because you're not allowed to see it. No one is allowed to see it. They know that this deep darkness exists within them. They know that this is a very dark and painful part of them. And you know, for a narcissist to be able to explore that, to be able to tap into that, would mean them tapping into that core wound, that trauma of theirs. That, remember, they have spent a long time putting barriers up, getting away, running away from that. This is why they have this exterior. That is nothing to do with themselves. This illusion that they have is not actually themselves. That is not an authentic, true representation of who they are. They can't access that part of them. You know, for a lot of them, if they did, it would mean devastation. It would mean that they would die emotionally. They would die internally. Maybe even literally. It's too much. It's too much pain that they would have to access to be able to explore that part of them. Which is why I say this quite a bit, that it's quite difficult for a narcissist to heal this part. It means that they would have to become self-aware and in turn self-actualize to be able to express that. But they're not going to do that. A lot of them are not going to do that. Their needs are met by them not being their real selves, by not actually talking about their emotions, being able to access that. And I think for a lot of us, when we get into these relationships at the beginning, we think that they do. We think that they are being genuine and authentic. This is why, you know, the love bombing, the mirroring happens, because they mirror you. They mirror that part of you, these emotions of yours, because they don't do that themselves. They don't know what that is. Remember, they've spent a long time trying to separate from that part of them. And that's what I feel is so sad in all of this process, because actually, if they worked through it, then they would be okay. But they don't. They're never going to, which is why they do this. This is why they abuse others, because they treat others the way that they have been treated. They don't know any different. So you see, the way that they interact with you, you know, you have to put boundaries. This is why it's really important for those of you who can't go no contact from the narcissist. You know, maybe you have children, you have assets. You have to put boundaries in place, because they will continue to exploit your emotions against you. They do, my friends. That is how they get the power over you. It's because of the emotions. They're able to read you. And by you being vulnerable, by you being open, because of course, that's who you are. That is the human nature. They use it to control you. But you can take your own power back. You can take you back. It is okay to express how you feel. It is okay to say how you feel to people who you can trust. And that is the key here. It's trust of yourself. That is what is going to save you, is your own trusting in yourself, to open up, to be you. You are a wonderful person, and you need to show that. And it's okay to open your heart up and be vulnerable. Because what's the alternative? You're going to do what the narcissist does. You're going to be like them, hide away, not say how you feel. You know that that's not authentically, truly part of you. It will completely disconnect you from who you are. And the key to healing, the key to rising up in your power, to leveling up, is the connection to self, is to being you. Because there is no one on this earth that is like you. So guys, if you are someone who is going through this, please know that I do offer one-to-one consultations. I do also have a mentorship and a journal club. If you're interested in joining, please see the description box below. I also have a Discord server, which is absolutely free to join. This is a great online community that you can access, help and support, and talk to people 24/7, because people are there from all over the world 24/7. So please do see the description box below if you are interested in joining. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.